Something strange is going on with Oprah Winfrey's South African school for girls. Started spreading rumors that girls are disappearing from the school. According to these rumors, several students from the school have gone missing.
A couple of pets as well. Yeah. A dog and a cat with interesting names, to say the least.
Yeah. That's Oprah.
That's Oprah. Okay. Yeah. Named after the Oprah, and your cat's name is?
And Gail.
Okay, Gail.
Yo, so why am I hearing that Oprah had a school for girls and all of them went missing?
These are
to stay buried, and the deeper people dig, the louder the silence gets. For weeks now, whispers online have been circling around a powerful name, and this time the questions aren't fading, they're multiplying. It all started with renewed chatter about a prestigious girls' academy overseas, one built with promises of safety, education, and opportunity. Instead, rumours began spreading that students were leaving under unsettling circumstances, with some online voices going even further. The claims escalated fast. People weren't just talking about students anymore. Even strange side stories started popping up, including pets linked to the campus with eyebrow-raising names that sent comment sections spiraling. On their own, they sound absurd. Taken together, they fueled something bigger, suspicion. And then the name 50 Cent entered the conversation. Once that happened, everything shifted. Because when he speaks, he doesn't whisper. Suddenly, Oprah Winfrey, long treated as untouchable, was facing renewed scrutiny from corners of the internet that felt ignored for years. Critics began resurfacing old accusations, suggesting she used her influence to quietly block certain careers while protecting her own seat at the top. And that was just the beginning. Old interviews resurfaced, clips people forgot. Moments that once felt awkward suddenly looked intentional. Viewers started asking whether these patterns were coincidence or control. One story that keeps getting replayed involves a rising artist sitting on a couch, expecting praise for a film role, only to be redirected into a judgment of his music and values instead. The praise came with a disclaimer, and to many watching, it felt unnecessary. Why say it at all? That tension wasn't isolated. By now, most people know Oprah and 50 Cent never aligned. Their disconnect wasn't subtle. Back when 50's career was exploding, he wanted a chance to tell his story differently, moving beyond headlines and into context. That door never opened. The message was clear. His image didn't fit her brand. To 50, that rejection wasn't quiet, it was loud. He fired back publicly, accusing her platform of catering to people who didn't understand his world. He framed it as generational, cultural, and intentional. And when his response didn't make it into the final broadcast, fans noticed. What viewers saw looked one-sided. What they didn't see mattered more. Silence edits the truth louder than words. From there, the divide hardened. 50 leaned into conflict, saying friction worked better for him than approval. If he couldn't be welcomed, he'd be remembered. Ironically, the interview eventually happened, but insiders claimed it wasn't about reconciliation, it was about ratings. Then things took another turn. Questions about mental health, paranoia, and stress dominated the conversation, leaving some viewers uneasy. Was this concern or framing? Was the narrative being guided somewhere specific? And why did it feel like control kept slipping just out of reach? Around the same time, another respected artist stepped forward with his own frustrations. He believed his appearance had been repurposed into a lesson rather than a promotion. The focus shifted, the edit changed, and when responses were cut, the story felt incomplete. That wasn't the last time this pattern appeared. A beloved comedian later found himself in a similar seat, attempting to explain a career-altering decision that stunned the industry. Instead of clarity, the conversation kept circling speculation. Interruptions stacked up. The narrative narrowed. Viewers sensed discomfort, and so did he. What should have been an explanation became a puzzle, and then came the women. actresses with decades of credibility.
I was there for a Crash for the movie.
Yeah.
And basically she said something about not agreeing with my music, but she thought I did great in the movie. And of course I was up there with the whole cast of Crash. And so I didn't necessarily feel like that needed to be said. You know, you didn't agree with my music. And even if you don't agree with certain songs I made, say you don't agree with certain songs, don't say you just don't agree with all.
Alliances, long-time friendships, shared platforms. And suddenly people weren't just questioning individuals, they were questioning systems. 50 Cent didn't hesitate. He reposted headlines, publicly offered support, and made it clear whose side he was on. To fans, it felt like validation long overdue. To critics, it looked like a warning shot. Because challenging Oprah has consequences, and everyone knows it. Another name resurfaced, Monique. Her accusations weren't new, but they suddenly felt relevant again. She had long claimed that refusing unpaid obligations cost her opportunities. At the time, many dismissed her. Years later, her story sounded familiar, and 50 stood with her when few others did. He amplified her work, praised her talent, and promised action, not sympathy. According to him, this wasn't about revenge, it was about correction. But the controversy didn't stay in Hollywood. Attention snapped back to the Girls' Academy overseas. Real incidents from the past resurfaced, documented, reported, and deeply troubling. Leadership failures, abuse by staff, a secret pregnancy discovered far too late. Each incident raised the same question: how did this happen under strict supervision? Online, facts blended with speculation. Some claims went too far, others demanded answers. While no evidence supports the most extreme rumors, the repetition alone damaged trust, and the internet never forgets. As debates intensified, comments flooded in. Some defended Oprah fiercely, citing decades of philanthropy. Others argued that success shouldn't shield accountability, that loyalty without questioning helps no one. Power without questions becomes untouchable. So where does that leave things now? 50 doubled down, calling for apologies, promising opportunities, and making it clear he wasn't backing down. He reignited conversations about past associations, elite circles, and who knew what and when. Photos resurfaced, old collaborations, familiar faces standing beside disgraced figures long before the truth exploded. Oprah has said she didn't know. For some, that explanation is enough. For others, it isn't. And then there's the school, opened with hope, shadowed by scandal, followed by years of unanswered questions, promises of reform met with lingering doubt. Even today, its name sparks debate. Some say the internet exaggerates everything. Others say patterns don't lie. So now the question isn't whether Oprah's legacy is complex. It always was. The question is whether complexity excuses silence, and whether this renewed pressure means something bigger is coming next. Because when conversations refuse to die, history has a way of resurfacing, whether people are ready or not.